Hey, what's going on, APUSH world? We have Key Concept 1.2, continuing our series of key concept videos matched up to time periods for the new curriculum. This is from period 1 again, 1491 to 1607, and this focuses on the Columbian Exchange. If you'd like to download the PowerPoint that is used in this video, please follow the link below and head on over to my website at apushreview.com where you can download this and every other PowerPoint for the videos that I use. All right, let's get going with this key concept. So, what exactly does the new curriculum say? It says European overseas expansion resulted in the Columbian Exchange, a series of interactions and adaptations among societies across the Atlantic. This is from page 24 of the new curriculum framework, which there is also a link in the description, which you can download as well. And I would encourage you to do so you can be familiar with the new curriculum. All right, so just be familiar with the idea that the Columbian Exchange revolutionized life in the Americas, Europe, and Africa. And within key concept 1.2, there is Roman numeral 1, which says that the arrival of Europeans in the Western Hemisphere in the 15th and 16th centuries triggered extensive demographic and social changes on both sides of the Atlantic. So the big ideas for this key concept are what were positives and negatives of the Columbian Exchange on both hemispheres, and what were reasons that led to European explanation? If you can answer those two and provide detail, you will have a good grasp of this key concept. So let's get going. Columbian Exchange, what the heck is this thing? Well, it is the exchange of plants, animals, cultures, humans, diseases, etc. between the Americas, Europe, and Africa. Please know, guys, it is not simply plants and animals. Diseases and cultures are part of this as well. So, what are some examples of goods that were a part of the Columbian Exchange? Well, going from Americas to Europe and Africa, we have potatoes, maize, which was a big part of Key Concept 1.1, and tomatoes. And oh, look at potatoes. I love potatoes, especially with butter. Throw some sour cream on that, some bacon and cheese. That's a meal right there. Europe to the Americas, some examples of goods that went from there to the Western Hemisphere are wheat, rice, horses, chickens, and oxen. And this is just some of many examples. And the horse had a huge impact on Native American life, especially in the Great Plains and the Great Basin. And there are horses. I've only ever ridden a horse once, maybe later in my life. I don't know. So, what are some impacts of the exchange? Well, in Europe and Asia, you have a massive population growth due to new food, especially corn. You will see that that really produces a lot more food for Europeans, which will lead to a population explosion. That is so important to know. In Africa, you have horrifically negative effects. The Spanish and Portuguese begin to go to West Africa and use Africans as slaves in the Americas, both North and South. And in the Americas, you have the spread of disease, particularly smallpox, which kills many Native Americans. You have the creation of new social classes such as mestizos, and here's a picture of a mestizo baby. Mestizos are those individuals who are descendants of both Native Americans and Europeans, particularly Spanish. And again, the horse transformed native life and made hunting much easier. We also have something called the encomienda system, which I have a video on. It's that important to note. It's specifically mentioned in the new curriculum, and you can check that out for more detail as well. All right, so key concept 1.2 Roman numeral 2 says that European expansion into the Western Hemisphere caused intense social, religious, political, and economic competition in Europe and the promotion of empire building. So the question here is essentially what drove European exploration and conquest? Well, I always teach my students the three G's: gold, glory, and gospel. So Europeans wanted to make money, that's the gold. They wanted fame or glory or a sense of power, and gospel also played a huge role, which is to spread religion, especially Christianity, and they'll play a large role in both Portugal and Spain. And money and food from the Americas led to population growth in Europe, and this helped shift the economy to capitalism. Again, these new foods from the Western Hemisphere go over to the Eastern Hemisphere and leads to a population explosion. You also have the creation of joint stock companies, which will be used especially by Britain, and this was used to raise money for explorations. And Jamestown is a famous example of a joint stock company. And here's Jamestown, which was founded in 1607 by the British, which is coincidentally the end of this time period. And that's when Britain plays a huge role in exploration in the Americas. And new technology also aided exploration. You have something called the sextant, which could be used to find the exact position on Earth, and it helped with more precise sailing. This was basically an early GPS system used by ships. All right, some test tips for key concept 1.2. For multiple choice questions and short answer, be familiar with the impacts of the Columbian Exchange and know that it was more than just food. Be able to identify and explain a couple of those. For example, increase in world trade, permanently connecting the two hemispheres. Be able to identify specific goods and their impacts. I would focus personally on the horse and the potato and this idea of large population increases in Europe. The impact on Africans. Sadly for Africans, much of the impact of the Columbian Exchange will be based on the drastic growth in slavery. Essay questions, just like Key Concept 1.1, it's not likely since it's from period 1 because you will never see a question exclusively based on period 1. It will be linked to other time periods. All right, that's everything you need to know about Key Concept 1.2. Thank you very much for watching. Please take a moment and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. If you found this video helpful, please help spread the word. Let your teachers know, let your friends know about this. This new AP curriculum can be kind of challenging. I'm hoping to make it as simple as possible. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day, guys.